Good afternoon. This is a meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Today is June the 21st of 2018, and I'm calling this meeting to order. The first item of business is, can we have a roll call, please?
Chairman, Mr. Erasmo Villarreal.
Present.
Vice Chairman Jose Tellez, Carlos Flores, Javier Compián, Raul Ubalde.
Present.
John Narvaez.
Present.
Mr. Joe Villarreal.
Present.
Daniel Lopez.
Present.
And Jorge Dominguez. You have a quorum for the record.
Thank you. We have a quorum. I know that some of the members are still working. Can we have a motion to excuse the commissioners that are not here? I know that a lot of them have reported in that they wouldn't be able to make the meeting because they were still at work, and I know Mr. Dominguez is out of the country.
Make a motion to excuse Jose Tellez, Carlos Flores, Mr. Compián, and Mr. Dominguez.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right, the next item is, can everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the next item that we have is the consideration of the minutes of June the 7th of 2018.
We would like to table those.
Thank you.
Request that they be tabled.
Motion to table?
A motion, we have a second?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Do we have any citizens' comments at this time?
We didn't receive any cards.
All right. All right, we're going into public hearings. First item that we have is a public hearing amending the zoning ordinance of the city of Laredo by rezoning Lot 1, Block 1, Sierra Vista Subdivision, Unit 4, located at 420 Sierra Vista Boulevard from R1 to B1 Limited Business District. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the zone change, in favor of the zone change. Anybody who wishes to speak in favor of the zone change? Are there any updates to the letter sent out?
No updates.
No updates. All right. Anybody who wishes to speak against the zone change? Against the zone change? Okay, I have a question for staff. Correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe that changed, but I thought a church was allowed in any zoning district.
You are correct.
Why are they requesting a zone change?
The only thing they disclose, the applicant on the application, is the proposed use, a church.
Wasn't there a church already?
It is
Yes.
a church.
So I don't see the logic here. Everything else is R1 around it. Why would we want to go to a B1? A church is allowed in an R1.
It is. Do you know why, Ale?
Again, they didn't disclose any other than that. Through building department, we found out that there's a permit for a sign, but we don't have the specifics for it. So we can be certain that that's a reason.
Apparently, there's an application pending for a digital sign. You cannot have a digital sign in it.
Not for the church then, for
Yes, for the-
commercial purpose? Or for
We
the,
don't know.
We don't know.
If you would like-
obviously, if they're coming in for a zone change, because there would be allowed a sign.
Not on an R1.
I didn't say digital,
Okay.
okay?
Yes, you're correct.
If it is a digital sign and it's strictly for the church, then I can see what we need to look at, as we look at the comprehensive plan and everything else, the land use plan, some of these things,
Can the information be disclosed?
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if you'd like, we can table the item and we can try to get more information from the applicant.
I'm gonna ask what the commissioners wanna do, because like I said, I don't know what you all feel about it, but I just don't feel
Yeah, I
comfortable
don't
with
feel
it.
comfortable with either. I mean,
I mean,
I don't know what the other commissioners feel about it. I mean, just more information would be great, and,
Yeah.
to disclose what they want to do, right?
yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
They could turn around and sell the property.
Well,
tomorrow.
that's what I was thinking, I said, the church maybe,
Is there anyone here from the?
no one answered the call. Well, can we then,
Make a motion to table the item.
motion to close the public hearing and table the item?
close public hearing and take.
Second that motion.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries, thank you. The next item that we have is, public hearing amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by rezoning lots 4 and 5, block 208, and 3,856.36 square feet, part of the former Malinche Avenue, Eastern Division, located at 2019 Santa Clara Street and 1619 Meadow Avenue, from a B1 to a B3. The proposed use is an auto sales car wash. The site currently has a vacant commercial building. We had 37 letters sent out. Are there any updates?
There's an update. We received one in favor.
One in favor, okay?
Right.
And the staff supports the zone change, all right. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the zone change, in favor of the zone change? Anybody who wishes to speak against the zone change, against the zone change? All right, and what are the wishes of the commission?
I'll make a motion to close public hearing and support staff's recommendation for the zone change.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those against? Motion carries, thank you. Next item is the public hearing amending the zoning ordinance of the city of Laredo by authorizing a special use permit for a restaurant serving alcohol on lots 3 and 4, block 660, Eastern Division, located at 4220 McPherson Avenue. The proposed use is a restaurant serving alcohol, and the staff does not support the requested SUP. Letters sent out were 24. Any updates on that?
No updates.
No updates? Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this SUP? In favor? Yes, ma'am.
For the record, my name is Maribel Garcia, and I'm here on behalf of Mr. Juan Rosales, the owner of the property, and Mr. Jose El Carrion, owner of the business. As of January, Mr. Carrion took over the business, and it's still operating for more than 6 years. So we see here, and we went over the comments, the staff comments, and you see that the staff does not support it because not being in compliance with the parking. And we do understand their concern, but that has not been a problem since they have been in business. But they are willing to make any type of arrangement or contract to be in compliance. Other than that, if you do approve the special use permit, they agree with the conditions.
Any questions? Ms. Garcia?
Ms. Garcia, just for clarification, so then, if we were to approve the SUP, you'd be okay with any of the recommendations that are listed here by the city
Yes,
staff?
we went over all of them, including number 15, where it says that they do require a fence. They do have a block fence behind the location, which leads to some apartments that are there.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. Anybody else who wishes to speak in favor of the zone change, of the SUP, I'm sorry, in favor of the SUP? Anybody who wishes to speak against the SUP? Against the SUP? If not, what are the wishes of the commission?
I want to close public hearing and support applicant for an SUP.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second that motion.
And a second. Now, does that include, of course, getting the additional parking? Or how is your motion?
Yeah, the motion is to comply with all the staff recommendations.
Okay, all right. Your second is good with that?
There's no, I don't read anywhere here on the recommendations that it has to comply with the parking. I think we're gonna approve it based on the current parking that it has, right?
No, sir.
No, is that part of the, what number item, what?
Aquí está number 6.
Staff suggests the following conditions in your packet there,
Right,
impact
I see.
analysis.
Number 6, off-street parking shall be provided in accordance with the City of Laredo Land Development.
I see.
So you good with the second?
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion, and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion carries in. Thank you. Next item is a public hearing amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Laredo by rezoning Lot 7, Block 1, Garza Cantu subdivision, located at 4110 Blue Quail Road from B3 to B4 Highway Commercial District. The proposed use is a self-storage. This is vacant and undeveloped land. There was 95 notices sent. Is there any update to that?
We
Only
have
one?
received one letter in
In
opposition.
opposition. Okay. And staff does not support the proposed zone change because it is not consistent with the comprehensive plan designation for a neighborhood mixed use. Now, that's interesting. It's a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the zone change?
Hello, my name is Mike Doyle, and this is Luis Ortiz from Modern Construction,
All right.
and I'm here to answer any questions you have.
All right, sir. Does the commission have any questions for Mr. Doyle? I guess the question I had for you is, the development that you're doing, the storage units, how many units are you proposing?
About 150,
Okay, all right,
it'll be a single story.
single story, all right.
We have floor plan maps if you would all like to see them.
You can, I don't know if you can display them up there on that,
Yes, you could display it for the record.
there you go.
It's a drive-through facility, it's state-of-the-art, all electronic.
Climate controlled?
Well, half is climate control, half of it's not.
Okay,
It'll all be accessible by
yeah,
smartphones,
okay,
be no
Excellent.
locks, be real state-of-the-art.
very good.
I have a
And,
que-
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a question for staff though. So just, the only reason you're not supporting is because it doesn't fit the comprehensive plan, right? The new land use?
Correct.
Mixed use, residential. And does that make sense? Even because it's right in front of Loop 20, it's a major arterial, right?
It's what the comprehensive plan shows.
But, okay, well, does it make sense, even if we didn't have the comprehensive plan, does it make sense?
I don't have a great deal of heartburn over it. I can tell you this, that a B3 does allow them to have a self-storage if they ask for an SUP and put the site plan in front of it. So, I mean, if the stated use is self-storage, that's one route, but I don't really have a problem with the B4 there either. But I mean, I'm not gonna promote that because the comprehensive plan is telling me that that's not what is desired by the city council as they adopted the comprehensive plan.
Okay, so then my question directed to Michael Doyle.
We didn't apply for a special use because she recommended I apply for the B4.
She?
Anna, she said, you might as well just go ahead and do the B4, it's the same thing.
Well, whenever there's an applicant that comes by the office, we explain the alternatives. We always explain the zone changes, we explain the conditional use permit. And sometimes we do, let them know that council may, have an expiration date on CUPs. It's up to them which route they wanna go to, but we do make sure to cover the alternatives, for the proposed.
We don't mind have a stipulation that we would only build a self-storage if you rezone it.
We've rezoned some other locations on McPherson, on
This
Loop
is-
20 to a
this is-
B4.
Right across
This
the
is a
street, it's
B4,
rezoned
right?
B4.
That's what a B4 was created for. B4 was created for major arterials. The zoning
Highway.
designation that he's asking for is appropriate for the location. That's what the B4 zone's for. It's an appropriate zoning for that. It's highway use.
And we've done, I think, remember we did one further down. just,
Right across the street, actually.
On the same side of the street, we did one closer to the gas station.
What you should also be aware of is that
Yeah, that's right.
when an item like this goes through to council,
Oh, yes, okay.
and if council does approve the B4, for example, then the comprehensive plan, future land use map, is automatically amended to show.
Right, yeah, sure,
The-
and
the
that's
more
what,
intense.
and that's one of the discussions we had when we were approving the comprehensive plan, that it's an evolving plan, right? To evolve with the conditions and with the functions of that area.
Correct.
So this is a function of that area, and unfortunately, the form doesn't follow it.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Doyle from the commission? Thank you, Mr. Doyle. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the zone change? In favor? Anybody who wishes to speak against the zone change? Against the zone change? Okay, if not, what are the wishes of the commission?
Make a motion to close public hearing and go against staff recommendation and approve the zone change to a B4.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
A second. All those in favor? Signify. Say aye. All those against? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is a public hearing amending the zoning ordinance of the city of Laredo by repealing ordinance number 2018-0-017 and authorizing a special use permit for the townhomes on Lot 1, Block 1, Hillside Subdivision, Phase 1, located at 7406 Hilltop Road. I thought this item had come before us. Now, can you tell me what is 2018-0-17?
That is a,
What ordinance is that?
that is a special use permit for townhouses on Lot 1, Block 1, Hilltop Subdivision, Phase 1. This is an amendment to that original SUP. Remember, the
Making it bigger?
SUP ties down a site
A
plan.
site plan, okay.
And so what's happening here is, they wanted to modify the site plan. And so we don't have a huge amount of confusion and do like an ordinance and then say we're amending this ordinance. Sometime in the future, what we do is we repeal the old ordinance and just come back with a new ordinance. It's a lot cleaner.
Okay,
So by way of amendment, we're repealing the old ordinance with this new ordinance and amending that site plan to remove the parking requirement.
Visitor parking, right?
That's correct.
So it's coming off the street?
That's correct. If you look at the site plan, there's a little visitor parking area there. That's being removed from the site plan, which would then delete it from the construction plans and so forth.
106.
Yeah. Yeah, the page is up there. Page 106, that's the original. That's the new one you just passed.
Okay. How did he get to it?
I put the other one and then
Not gonna have visitor parking.
So there you can see the site plan from the current
Fernando.
ordinance, and there you can,
No, go back to the updated type, go back.
and there you can see the site plan that they are amending.
Okay.
Everything else remains the same.
So why initially did they add the additional parking?
Why did because it was,
The space that they wanted to use?
well, just to have that add parking for for any visitors or whatever. Remember this development was granted, I believe they were granted smaller lots.
Yeah.
They were granted, additional, frontage, setback, encroachment into the setback, if I remember correctly. And they put in extra parking because, at that time, now they want to remove it.
Okay. All right, well, this is a public hearing. Anybody who wants to speak in favor of the amendment for the SUP? In favor? In favor? Anybody who wishes to speak against the amendment to the SUP? Against? Okay. If not, what are the wishes of the commission?
I'll make a motion to approve the change, the amendment to the SUP.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion carries. Next item is a public hearing amending the zoning ordinance of the city of Laredo by authorizing a conditional use permit for a bar on Lot 7, Block 566, Western Division, located at 1520 Constantinople Street. The proposed use is for a bar. The site has been a vacant commercial building. The staff does not support the requested CUP at this location. There was 32 letters sent out. Was there any updates to this?
There was one letter in opposition.
One letter in opposition. Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this particular zone change? Or I'm sorry, conditional use permit.
Yes, sir. For the record, my name is Gabriel Lopez. I'm a veteran. I'm also now an entrepreneur. The bar, it's actually a club. The Jockey Club has been around for about 20 years at that precise location. It is a friendly atmosphere. And I understand the concerns the staff has, but the issues have been in existence. The same issues that they are concerned of have been in existence for over 15 to 20 years. These issues will not impact the neighborhood whatsoever. As a veteran myself, I plan to turn this club into a veterans place of gathering, much like the American Legion, except with the membership. The American Legion requires a membership for veterans. This will be for all veterans, but mostly for Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. The parking issue that they're concerned with has never been a real problem, because this is not a bar or a club that, we attract young people or old people or new crowd. This would be the same people that have been going on to this bar for many, many years. In years past, this same bar, this same club, housed what it was the non-commissioned officers club, which was primarily made up of veterans from the Army Reserve Unit, the 850. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to bring that back. However, during the selling of the location and whatever, somehow the license was not reapproved. So that's what we're trying to do, and we're also going to employ 4 people, which will help to the economy of Laredo, not in a big way, but in a small way. But we're trying to do that. Additionally, all events that the veterans have will be a place of gathering for them and a place for us to really come and congregate and talk about our experiences. Eventually, all the events that we have, the South Texas, Iraq, and Afghanistan veterans, events that we hold throughout the year in benefit of the community, such as Warm Feet, Happy Feet, in which give out shoes to children in need of the LISD and UISD. Also, Earth Day, all those events will be planned there, because this will be a non-membership place, so that all veterans can come in and express their opinions. So what we're doing is, I'm respectfully asking that you continue with this bar so that we can help out many veterans, and in return, also give out to our community by keeping this place open as it was when the non-commissioned officers had it from the Army Reserve Unit 850. Again, I understand the concerns, but these concerns have never been an issue the last 15, 20 years that the bar has been in existence. So I respectfully ask that you approve this item. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor? Anybody who wishes to speak against?
I have a question for staff.
You have a question? Yes, sir? Go
I have a
ahead.
question for staff, just for my background knowledge. So was this bar operating before with a CUP, or were they non-conforming, or what's the background on this location?
Non-conforming.
Non-conforming, so they've never operated, okay.
How long has it been closed, do you know?
At least 6 months, I would.
Over 6 months?
Yeah, they've lost their.
So they lost the non-conforming status.
If I may, sir.
Yes, sir.
The reason why the new owner, I'm gonna rent from the new owner, the reason why they lost the non-conforming was because the person who was applying for the license could not pass the clearance whatever the process that they had to do. So I saw this an opportunity to bring back that atmosphere that was with veterans, so that's why I'm applying again.
But
And
let me
that's-
ask you something. You mentioned that the person before could not pass, I guess, city inspections. Is that what it was? Because
No,
to get the license to sell alcohol, you have to go through the city of Laredo, and they have to go through the Building Development Services and
they-
Health Department.
As far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, the person at the last step with the TABC did not pass the background check.
Okay, the individual.
That's my understanding. Everything else was done up to specs.
All right, just a minute before you leave. Hold on. There's some questions. Go ahead.
Mr. Lopez, quick question. There's two items here that I see that the city put down as far as a reason for not approving the CUP, and I want to see if you have any plans in addressing them. One of them is the lack of parking space. Parking space downtown's always been an issue, and here it says it doesn't have the proper 18 spaces provided needed. And the second one is the distance, 300 feet from residential area. So those are the two reasons why. Do you have any plans or anything that could address those issues?
Yes, sir. However, the property is limited to what I can do, but I have plans to open the back area. If you look at the location, the patio is very, very, it's of considerable size.
Right.
So I'm willing to make that additional parking space, because we don't need the patio. We actually need the inside. So that can be used as a parking space, and that's what was working in the past. Now, as far as the residential areas, as I mentioned before, this bar has been in existence for over 15, 20 years. So that has never been an issue really with the neighborhood. The neighborhood knows that there's a bar there. They know that they've been there for many, many years. We will be respectful to all our neighbors. We want to be good neighbors with everybody, but we also want a place where we can gather and have a friendly atmosphere. We will be respectful of all the neighbors. In fact, we plan to do some type of bingos and that sort of things for the neighbors that want to use the atmosphere, the place. But
So-
again, as far as the parking space, I'm limited to what we can do because, there's,
But let me ask you this, in the patio area, how many more spaces do you think? Because I think what I saw on your site plan, there was six parking spaces, right?
there's,
And you need 16, is that correct?
there's
They need
four-
18.
18?
Spaces, and they do have a few spaces marked on the front and one of the sides, but they're encroaching on the city right away.
By how much?
Well, by 10 feet.
Can you go back to that
If
slide?
you look on page 127 on your packet,
All right.
that shows you how the parking looks like, the encroachment in the parking.
So parking on the street. Looks like your typical downtown type of
A
parking.
little bit more?
Exactly.
This is farther north than downtown. This is not near the CBD. If you look, this is maybe 2 blocks south of Jefferson at Santa Maria or whatever the cross street
It's
is.
one block south of west of Santa Maria. But let me just add another point, that there is a bar within a 1.5 mile radius of that has the same exact problem that we have with the parking lot. So again, we can accommodate, but we wish we could build for more parking space, but we're limited to what the property is. And again, this has been in existence for many, many years. So what we're proposing is that we can open up the patio and make it fit about 4, maybe 3 or 4 more parking spaces. And then parking will be on the street as well.
Mr. Lopez, and you've read through all the conditions that
I'm sorry, sir?
you've already read through all the 18 conditions that staff
Yes, sir.
put through, and you are,
I'm willing to comply, yes, sir.
you're compromised with them, and
Yes,
it's
sir.
only the parking issue is the one that you're
It's
having.
only the main, and again, we just don't have any more land to put parking spaces. But again, this has never been an issue because this is not a place where new crowds are gonna come in. This is a place where It's a neighborhood place where people know, only the people that live there around the place or people who know will congregate there. This is not, we're not gonna be advertising, come here, we're not gonna have that type of thing.
Hours of operations just till midnight.
Exactly.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Lopez? Thank you. All right. Any other questions that the commission may have for staff or anybody? If not, what are the wishes of the commission?
I make a motion to close public hearing and accept the applicant for the CUP. The CUP, sorry.
Okay, we do have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
We have a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So, let me see a show of hands. 1, 2, 3.
4.
4. All right, motion carries. Thank you. All right. Next item that we have is the preliminary consideration of amending plat of Lot 8, Block 5, Southern Development Unit 2. The intent is residential. The site is 4,500 square foot tract located east of Oil Patch Road and south of Gage Avenue. The zoning for the one lot development is R1A, and the proposed action is approved subject to the following comments from planning, from water and utilities, and a notice to developer, engineer of record, Crane.
Mr. Chairman, good evening, members of the commission. Edward Garza with Crane Engineering here on behalf of the applicant. The purpose of this amending plat is to add a 5-foot utility easement on the east side of the lot to accommodate a cable that was installed by AEP. In the submittal of this application, we consulted with the utility department regarding their comment, and they did agree to remove the comment, although it couldn't be done prior to this meeting, but they did send an email to the planning department. So I think there might be in a position to remove that comment, and with that being said, we would support this, agree with everything else minus that comment.
Okay. All right. Staff, do you all have an email to the effect from Water Utilities?
Yes, they did want to go ahead and remove their comment.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Garza, for the commission? Thank you, Mr. Garza.
Thank you.
All right, what are the wishes of the commission?
Motion to approve, striking the water utility, comment.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is preliminary consideration of the plat of Gallus Properties. Intent is commercial. This is a 2.71 acre tract located north of Farm to Market 1472 and east of Cooper Mine Road. The zoning is, for this one lot development is AG. The proposed action is approved subject to the following comments from planning, from engineering, from water and utilities, and a notice to developer, engineer of record, Poa Construction.
Mr. Chairman.
Go right ahead, yeah. Yeah. we'll wait. Okay, I'm sorry.
On this particular plat, I don't want to blindside the engineer because we don't have it in our comments. But one of our concerns was that on the west side of this tract, there appears to be a very small easement. I think it's 20 feet.
I think it was 15. I believe it was 15.
And it's not shown on the plat itself. And if it is indeed a 20-foot easement, that doesn't meet the minimum requirements for a roadway section within, not even a local, within the city of Laredo, under the subdivision ordinance. And so we would request that at a minimum, they dedicate 15 feet because based on what we were seeing on the aerial, and I don't know if we have that here.
I have it.
based on what we've seen on the area. Is that the area for this? It appears to be trucking. All up in here.
Okay.
This is the track that they're planning. This is all this trucking going on here. This is only 20 feet wide. I think we got a problem. And so
Sorry, what are the requirements for the city? 30?
minimum required is 50 feet.
50 feet
50 feet.
right away.
And when you get into industrial like this, it actually, and you get trucking going, you can get up as big as 70 to 80 feet because of that. Now, out here, this property all back in here is all outside of the city limits, okay? But they're apparently having a trucking operation there, right?
That's right.
And it looks like there may be one over here. Both of them have direct access, apparently by TxDOT, correct? To FM 1472. But still remains that anything happening back here is relying on that little 20-foot.
Well, let me ask you this, and
So-
that green line is the city limits line. So there's a lot of activity that is still in the county. Is it the same, and it's the same property owner though?
Same owner.
Same owner, right? So, I mean, if it's the same owner and he's coming across his property,
I'm just not comfortable with allowing a road section within the city to be less than 50 feet of right of way. And on his.
is that designated on the plan somewhere?
No. But our minimum requirement for right of way within the city of Laredo is 50 feet of right of way.
Does the individual own both sides of that 20-foot right of way?
No.
No?
We're not asking for 50 from him, we're asking for enough to get to 50.
So you're asking, okay, it's a 20-footer and you need to go to 50. So you need 15 feet on his side. For future.
No, we would ask for that dedication,
No, what I'm saying is for future construction of a street.
or where we know it's gonna be needed, yeah. And,
So if he gives you the 15, then that building's gonna be, they won't meet the setback requirements, right?
I don't know, that's part of the problem, it's not shown, we don't know how far that right of way is. I mean, we didn't get we're going by what we're picking up off of our research based on the maps that we have and on, the WebCat map, so we're assuming that that's 20. But it's not showing up on his document there. So, you know, they can go back and verify it and then we can talk about it or something, but, you know, it's problematic.
I think in the best interest of the property owner and everyone, that we table this item until you can do your research and come back to the planning department with, you know, your research on that, what he's claiming to be a 20-foot easement for a street. And also, now that you have knowledge that there will be a requirement of additional right-of-way, that you meet with your client and inform him of what is being proposed. And I would recommend to this commission that at this point, we better table this item to give the engineer and the applicant some time to communicate and see which route they want to take. Is that fine with you? Or-
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion that,
Motion to table?
a motion and a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. The next item that we have is the final consideration of the plat of Cielito Lindo Carm subdivision, phase 23. It's residential, and the proposed action is approval.
We have 1, 2,
Do I take them all?
4 approvals. 4 approvals.
All right. You got 8A, 8B, 8C, and 8D. Right? Yes.
Make a motion to hear all items for approval, items 8A through 8D.
D. Okay, motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
No.
All
I'll
right.
make a motion to approve items 8A and through 8D.
Okay. We have a second?
Second.
A second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. Next item we have is,
This item was brought by one of the commissioners, I understand, and he's asked for us to table the item.
the homeowners?
Yes,
Okay.
Carlos Flores, yes. Since he's not present, he wants to discuss the item at the next, and just put it on the next meeting agenda.
Yeah, I would just table it and we'll get with him and
Okay.
if we can put it on, if he wants it on the next one, we'll put it on. If he wants to delay it, we'll do
Okay.
that too.
So just give us just a motion to table the item.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, is the commission gonna entertain another meeting for the,
Comprehensive?
yes, sir?
Yes, we are. Let's everybody check your, it's gonna have to be somewhere after July the 4th, probably.
Are these workshops open to the public?
Yes, they are. They are posted as well.
So for the public that's in the audience, Michael Doyle, these workshops are very beneficial to the public to learn about we're talking about the comprehensive plan, and the reason, one of the reasons that they denied or not support your item was because of that.
Our next P and Z meeting is July the 5th, is that correct? Yes? So then the week after that, we would be looking at maybe if y'all are in agreement to have a meeting, anywhere between, I guess,
Workshop.
July 9th through the 13th, that week. Whatever's a good day for you guys. I
Same
know,
time.
Johnny, you're out Thursdays or Wednesdays?
Wednesday through Friday.
Wednesday through Friday, so then Tuesday?
Tuesday's good.
Tuesday, time 5 or 4 or?
Are you good at Tuesday? Last time we met at 4.
5 would be best, but 4 I can push it.
We'll give you a tardy slot.
I'm gonna start it. 4, I guess, okay.
All right, are you guys okay with July the 10th at 4:30?
Sure.
Sure.
Oh,
Danny,
I can't, July 10th.
you can't?
I like board meeting.
How about the?
At 4:30?
17th?
Will we be done by 6?
You could sit in on a good portion of
Okay.
it, and then, you know, if you need to leave, you can leave.
Okay.
Because I think it's important for you to kind of,
Date? Did you say?
the 10th.
July the 10th.
Oh, okay. It's okay. You okay?
I'll sit in.
Yeah, whatever you can, and
Forum
then,
if I leave or.
no, we'll have other board members here, but I think it would be good for you to kind of like see what we've been discussing, because this will be our second meeting on the comp plan to go ahead and, you know, see what we can do with it.
It'll be really good.
All right, let's,
July 4? 4:30?
4:30, July 10th.
4:30.
4:30, you guys good with 4:30?
Yeah.
You good? All right, 4:30, July 10th. Anything else, Mr. Bratton?
That's all for us, sir.
Yes, sir.
If I may, did I hear correctly for Cielito Lindo, was it approved?
It was denied.
It was denied, what was it?
No, I'm just kidding. It was approved.
It was approved.
Yes, it was
I heard-
approved.
I heard the 4 letters, but I was.
No, it was approved.
Okay, thank
It
you.
was approved. Gotcha. What happened? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, it was approved. All right, guys, thank you.